Mm-hmm. 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 Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Were there ever any verses on anyway to begin with? Oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Hmm. That's part I remember most from that movie Glory. That them singing that song and Disney's asshole with that one tear. What up, Chris? My nigga. I could really call Chris a day one friend, man. Shit. Third grade. Coliseum Elementary. A positive influence. Go back and yeah. When I'm done with this, go. I'm not gonna be on here long because my wife on the way. My wife just called me and said she on the way home. So I ain't gonna when she get home. I ain't gonna be talking to you niggas. I'm gonna be done. But yeah, go back and read it, man. That was a dope session with me. Thank y'all for hey Quan, look at this right here. This is some Syrah, Rancho Squaw Winery, Central Coast, Santa Ynez, California. Syrah. What's up, Eloquence is Key? I appreciate that on the music family tree. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I got the Craig Six Finger. I support my homies. I bought that too. I didn't ask Craig to give me that for free. I paid for that. No, no. This place isn't black owned. This isn't black owned. This is a family owned property, and I met the owners. They're really cool. Like I met the white owner. Here is it's right behind Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. This winery we have right here is right behind Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Like if you ever, oh, hold on. I don't be trying to do too many things. Hold my wine and hold these garage at the same time. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely quality wine. The black owned winery, that's Brown Winery. It's called Brown Winery. It's in Napa Valley. That's some of the best wine you're gonna drink on earth. They specialize in Zinfandels. You know they're really good because I am not the biggest fan of Zinfandel wine, but that Brown Winery, their Zinfandel is the shit. Too many things going on at once. I got two blunts. I got two blunts in my hand. I got a cup of wine in my hand, a phone in my hand, keys in my hand. Doing way too much. Doing way too much. But y'all saw the way Skype did a nigga? Man, salute. Thank you to everybody who came in and did a reading. I want to start off by saying that. Thank you to everyone who did a reading. Y'all were dope. Y'all were cool. But Skype was on some bullshit. And Skype was on some bullshit. It may have been because I had so many people calling in. I had a lot of people calling in. So maybe that's the reason why Skype shut down. But for whatever reason, Skype shut down because I was getting a bunch of calls. So to that I say, fuck you, Skype. Fuck you, Skype. But thank you for everybody who joined in to the readings. When it comes to readings, man, the cardology, that shit's accurate. You see black people, why they try to keep us away from those sciences? You see why they use the church to tell us that astrology, that all this stuff for pseudoscience. Y'all see why they use the church to push that narrative? Not to deal in our ancient sciences. Because when you do, you unlock keys to wisdom within you. Here's the thing about cardology, or whether it be cardology, numerology, astrology, whatever you use to read, tarot cards, whatever you use to read. Really, what at the end of the day, it's my intuition connecting to your higher self, that higher self that guides you, because we all got it. We all got a higher self that guides us through this thing. Some people call that higher self Jesus. Some people call it Buddha. Some people call it Allah. Some of you motherfuckers say it's an atheist and the shit don't exist. Whatever. I'm not here to get into none of that shit. You got it. So when I'm reading cards and I'm tapping into that version, not the version of you that's here on the planet. Yeah, Andrew Cuomo, yeah, definitely. Yeah, religion was weaponized against it, and you got people who fall into that, and you end up missing it all. You fall into the bullshit, and these beautiful, beautiful sciences our ancestors left us, you end up not benefiting from it because you believe with somebody who has no good positive intentions by you. You believe what they said about something. And that's how it happens. Yeah, they've been shaming alternative thinking since day one. But I am offering half off my services now through all the next week. My birthday next Friday. So I am celebrating my birthday week with half off of all my services. So if y'all again, if y'all want a cardology reading, if you want to know shit like business, where like business wise, I can help you out with that. Relationship wise, I can help you out with that. Or if you just want to know yourself better, you want to know why you tick, you want to know how you communicate, you want to know, because another thing about cardology is I can show you your future too by your age. I can point to an age and tell you where you will be at that point. Don't believe me? Book a session and find out. Then I'm bullshitting if you didn't go back, if you didn't watch my cardology reading from earlier. See, I did the cardology reading in public on purpose. You see, you've often thought that divinity opens the door for wickedness. See, let me tell you something. I'm glad you made that point, Tony Reacts. That's a good comment right there because that's what the church, and I'm not saying you were influenced by the church directly. I'm saying in general because the church still has an overall hand in what gets put out there. Remember, the Vatican clears your college textbooks. Before you get a textbook in college, the Vatican done ran through that motherfucker and said yes or no. All right, back to what we were talking about. They push you away from that stuff. They tell you if you go into the cards and the tarot, you're going to open yourself up to evil. Let me tell you something. Everything has a positive and negative. Everything has a good and a bad vibration to it. And if you're gonna tell the blunt, honest truth, you open yourself up to evil every time you go to church. Hey, look at the moon behind me. That's beautiful, ain't it? The waning moon, the waxing moon. We're gonna have a full moon on June 14th. But you open yourself up to evil every time you go to church. You open yourself up to evil every time you pick up a Bible. Because that same Bible that you use to uplift yourself and to make yourself feel better, other people use that same Bible to create the biggest wars in human history. the biggest genocides in human history were done with the same Bible people used to free themselves and save themselves from. So everything has a good and a bad to it. Everything has a high vibration and low vibration to it. Can you open yourself up to wickedness going into tarot? Yeah, if you go to a wicked reader, or if you yourself have wicked intentions. If your intentions are wicked, then yeah. But if you go in with pure intentions to where you're just trying to understand yourself a little bit better, then that's what you'll get out of it. Yeah. So remember, see the reason why I use see if people don't know like the history of cardology, that game those cards were created as a game to hide the science. Cardology is astronomy. I mean, it's astrology. That's really what it is. At the end of the day, it's astrology divided into 52 cards. That's what cardology is. It's astrology. What up, man? Everything good? Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm good, man. I have a good one. Yeah, finally. Yeah. But cardology is astrology, broken down into 52 cards. That's what it is. And when evil forces started to come and ban these sciences, ban tarot, ban, the greats were able, our great forefathers were able to put our astrology into cards. So in the days of the Roman Empire, when the people would come around and when they were getting rid of a lot of this science, when Christianity came on deck, or to the layman, that just looked like people playing a game. But really, it's more than a game. It's a science. Yeah. Yeah, the moon baffles me too, positive influence. Like I'm in love with for me, I can't get enough of the moon. Usually, oftentimes, I'm gonna tell you something else about me. Like I usually schedule like when I do my shroom trips, I do my shroom trips based on moon cycles. Let me get a little deep for y'all again. So I'm already doing cardology, so I might as well get deep. You niggas already know. People in this chat room y'all already know what it is. So can't hide it now. Cat's already out the bag. But when I do my shroom trips, mushrooms help you get a greater insight to your inner self. That's what they do. Now, if you want to be a drug addict, then you can use mushrooms to just whatever, whatever. But for those of us who are enlightened, mushrooms are used for an internal journey. Now, it's a fun internal. The journey's fun as hell, but it's still an internal journey. And anytime you do shrooms, you want to make sure that you write down whatever it is you want to clear up about yourself, whatever it is you want to get out, whatever depression, whatever hangups you have. You want to make sure that you write that stuff down before you go into your shroom trips, because your shroom trips help you get real clear. It's a Yeah, that's right, Tony. It's not good or bad. It just is. Look, it's very few good and bad in life. Most shit just is. You out? Yes, sir. Most shit just is. But going back to my thoughts on the shroom trips, I'm gonna get back to that part. I don't want to lose my thought on the shroom trips. I'm gonna close this point off. Let me tell you how to work with the moon. When a moon is waxing, meaning from no new moon, the moon has 28 day cycles, 14 days up, 14 days down. And anytime you want to increase something, if it's something that you want to increase, you meditate on that during new moon. That way, it increases within you. Things you want to let go, you do that at full moon. when you want to let go. Because as the moon starts to wane, it helps you go through cycles. So for me, when I'm on a shroom trip, if I'm doing a shroom trip to get rid of things, I always do that, at around full moon. That's when that energy is really big. And as the moon starts to go down, it releases things. That's a way to do mushroom trips if you're doing the mushroom trips for spiritual reasons. Now, if you're doing mushroom trips just to have some fun, shit, do them any goddamn time you want. You're right, trust you. We use drugs like 1% of their potential. We really do. It's like these things. They're not like these things. Like you think God created this shit to help your ass out? Really? This shit is a tool like anything else. Like think about water. Water can give you life. Water can drown you. Fire can warm you up. Fire can burn your monkey ass. Think about it. Air can be something that it gives you oxygen, but that shit too cold, it can freeze your ass. That's how cardiology is. That's how religion is. Everything is like that. It's all about balance and intention. Water's not evil. Like, think about all those brothers in Chicago that got waterboarded from 1969 to 1982. Y'all do know that one of the biggest reparations case that ever happened was out of Chicago because the Chicago PD was waterboarding black men between 1960. The whole waterboarding thing that they used in Iraq, they learned that shit in Chicago. And the people that were waterboarded in Chicago, they all they had a nice big settlement like around like 2013. That was a nice firework right there. That shit was beautiful. Fireworks are going up already. So remember, at the end of the day, life when it comes down to life, like one thing you want to get rid of is the judgment of good and bad. Most things aren't good or bad; they just are, and it comes down to your to intent. Because sometimes being the bad guy or doing something bad is a good thing, if you know what I mean. Like people say, okay, here's for instance, you should never hit anybody, correct? That's what most people say. You should never hit someone. Fine. I agree with that. You should not hit people. But what if that person is an immediate threat to you? Do you still go by the rule, do not hit? Or does that change because the scenario changed? You see how that works? It's not about the scenario, it's about what you do with the scenario. It's about the context of it. So going back to what we're talking about, like what they call pseudosciences, cardology, numerology, whatever. If you're using those scientists because I could easily, these same sciences I know, yes, I can use them to manipulate people. Yes, I can. It's very easy for me. Because with cardology, even if I don't have your birthday, as long as I know how your name is spelled, I can read you. I can read you based on your name. I can read your business based on the name of your business. Now I can do a little more accurate reading on the date your business was created, but I can read your business as a cardiologist. Now, if I have evil intentions, I can read that and know exactly how to manipulate you. That's possible. But I'm not that kind of person. But there are people out here who are those kind of people. But I do believe people who learn these sciences and use them for those means, I do believe they have an especially harsh karma that's going to come their way for doing things like that. So at the end of the day, don't be afraid. And, all that judging, you know, it's best left alone. It's just best to be left alone and spend your time mentally being the best person you can be. Because I know this shit sounds cheesy and corny, but at the end of the day, and I say this all the time, you niggas gonna hate me for this. I'm sure you niggas are gonna hate me for this, for being too corny, but all you niggas is dope. Every single one. See, I already knew that about people, but when I started to really learn cardology just proved it to me. Because when I read people's cards, like you can see exactly where, okay, you got a level of dopeness about you that I don't have, and no one else has. Like every individual has something about you that's so dope, can't nobody on earth touch. So when it comes to all these things that they distract us with, NBA, but like I said before on this show, they don't. They always say things are distraction. Distracting you from what? What they're distracting you is from you. That's who they're distracting you from. It's not people think. You ever see the people who watch the news all the time? Or they all up in even to some of our brothers and sisters that are in tune with the new black media and y'all, and we listen to them. And the people that follow the new black media, for the most part, when I run across everyone of y'all, everyone has good intent. I don't really see people in there with bad intentions. But I do see people in there that make what's said in the new black media a religion, and they start to deify, and it becomes like they end up treating it the same way they treated church. And remember, the reason why the church isn't effective is not because the Bible don't have effective stories. It's because of how people treat it. People use the church as a drug, and they don't, and instead of something to free themselves. So going back to what we were saying about whether it be mushrooms, whether it be weed, which I'm about to light up right now, whether it be weed, mushrooms, one of my issues is we all have our drugs, but when you start using the new black media as a drug to make yourself feel better than other people, then the good words Tariq is saying, the good words Jason Black is saying, the good information they drop, it ends up becoming something that people fight with instead of using to empower themselves. And I seriously doubt Jason Black spends so much time giving us information for us to just be fighting other people with it. We don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to ingest what they say and see how you're going to apply it. Like I said before, when I started my show earlier, when I was doing my cardology readings, part of the reason why I'm doing my music stuff so heavy, like part of that inspiration was when Jason Black said, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't care to ever see how Jason Black looks. I don't care to ever meet Jason Black. He seems like he's his own man, and he has his own mission. It's not about none of it. It's not about. I've been listening to Jason Black now since 2014. It's not about Jason Black the man. It's about his message and the things that he says to help empower people, and the things Tariq say and Professor Black Truth. It's about what they say to empower you. And something that Jason Black said about when he was talking about, right? Remember, he was like, Rakim. What's up, Michael? What's up, Court? What's up, Victoria, Quan? Good seeing y'all. But y'all remember the episode of the Black Channel when Jason Black was going in on Rakim, but he wouldn't call him Rakim. He kept saying, Rakim. Hmm? Rakim wants to leave the cultural legacy of black people to Eminem. That that broadcast really stuck with me because the music historian y'all see now was around then too. But I wasn't talking about music history back then. I told y'all before when I was doing my cardology reading broadcast earlier. I came on the internet to talk about socially conscious things and crack jokes. And if anybody called in with some, I'll be wishing I had some of the callers that Tariq and Jason Black have. Ooh, I'll be wishing I have some of you motherfuckers that had a nerve to call me. I'd kill you niggas with these jokes. But that was my intention when I got online. When I originally started the Hotep-ish show, Hotep-ish, that was because people were out there, these Africans and these Caribbeans were calling black people who were into history Hoteps. So I'm like, man, nah, fuck that. I'm a contrarian anyway. So since y'all want to use that label, hell, I'm gonna embrace the label just to piss you off. That way, because if you see Hotep-ish, people that think like that won't even come around my show. They won't even want to hear what I have to say. These people who think Kamala Harris is good for black society, the minute they see Hotepish, they ain't even gonna want to tune in. And that's exactly what I want. So that's why I named it that. But I named it Hotep-ish because nigga, I'm not giving up pork. Nigga, I'm eating my meat. Fuck y'all. I ain't gonna be one of these niggas where and I'm gonna still dress like a fucking nigga from LA. A lot of these motherfuckers want to learn some African spirituality and start dressing in all these goddamn start wearing kufis, nigga, and dressing like how Brother Polite used to dress before that nigga moved to LA. Shit. That nigga Polite done moved to LA and forgot that he was a Hotep. That motherfucker is Gucci down to the socks. But I ain't gonna get into all that. It's not about that. But when Jason Black started talking, had that episode. What's up, G Mars? When Jason Black had the episode talking about Rakim, what's up, Kendall? When he had that episode talking about like Rakim and leaving a cultural legacy to black people, that was a call. I heard that broadcast by Jason Black, and that was a call. I felt like a shot directly to me. Because what that did when Jason Black really broke down how we need to leave a cultural legacy for black children. Black children need something of their own. That hit home to me because all my years working with kids, let me tell y'all a question I would ask my kids when I work with them. When I work with kids, I would always ask them the same question. What do you think about you and what do you think about black people? I don't care if the kid was 7. I would ask a kid that question to 7-year-old children. I would ask it to 17-year-old children. What do you think about black people and what do you think about yourself? And you know what the answer would be most of the time? Most of the time they will be thinking, they would say, black people are always messing up. Like every time I turn on TV, like we getting arrested. So, and I would ask them, okay, why do you think those black people are getting arrested? Because you always want to ask why. Notice it, remember this, especially to you parents out there, when your children answer a question of yours, your job isn't to badger them. Your job is to help them flesh out the answer. So when I would get with children, anytime if you're out there, you work with children, take this from a motherfucking expert with working on children, working with children. Flush out your children's answers. The mistake most adults make is the minute the child says something, they go into telling the kid why they shouldn't think that way or how they should think. Don't do that. Don't do that to these babies. Let the babies flush out their answers. So when I would listen to my babies talk, they would say things like, every time I turn on the TV, black people either getting arrested or they're doing something dumb. So I'd ask them, okay, why do you think that is? And basically the answers will come back to, man, it's basically black people don't know how to act. We don't know how to act. But so when I would keep hearing that, it'll make you want to like halfway cry when you hear these kids say these things. But think about how we talk as adults. How many times we as adults say, yeah, niggas don't know how to act. Black people all black people always messing up. Black people always this. Black people. How many times do we actually say that and kids pick up on it? See, kids don't, you can talk to them, kids here, kids are listening when you don't think they are. So kids pick up on that And then that message gets verified when they turn on the news. The only time they see black people is on TV. The only time you're gonna see a black man that's money, that's successful, he has to be an entertainer or an athlete. And if he's an entertainer, he got that money. Usually, if he's an actor, he was a drug dealer on TV, or if he's a rapper, if he's listening to today's music, it has something to do with nefarious activities. So black children start to identify as that. And remember this, people, your personality is set in stone by the time you turn 8. 0 to 7, you're in your theta phase, and your brain is a sponge. And 0 to 7, it takes in everything. You don't discriminate from 0 to 7. You're an open book. And so we live in a society that if you're black, it's going to throw nothing but poison into that open book. By the time you're 7, they already know if you're going to jail or not. You see what I mean? So the personality of a child is set in stone by that. When they're 8, take notice of baby pictures. When they're 3 and 4 years old, they're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. When they're 5, they still got that big smile. Take a look at a child's photos from the age of 6 and then at the age of 8. You're going to see a big difference. At 6, it's still bright and the world is open to them. At 8, that's when that frown comes. That's when you see their shoulders are slumped. That's when you see that fake smile where you kind of see them to kind of just pull their cheeks back, but you don't really see the life. Pay attention. Pay attention. We programmed. So going back to Jason Black, when Jason Black said we have to leave a cultural legacy for our children, that was a call to me. Jason Black doesn't. I seriously doubt he knows who the fuck I am. You don't know who. I was in the chat room today, but in the last 8 years I've been following the channel, I never leave comments on the videos. And I've probably joined the chat room 20 times. Like as far as like actually said something in the chat room 20 times over the last 8 years. How many times I've actually saw. I seriously doubt homie know who I am. But I still took that as a call to me because it was like, man, one thing I know well is music history. Because again, I'm a self-taught musician, but when I taught myself how to play, I also learned the history of what I did. I'm like, I know this shit already. Like, I know the history. And so when Jason Black said that, I was like, you know what? I got to get more out there with my music knowledge. It means a lot to me that black children have a cultural legacy to hold on to. So so at the time I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna write a book, which I'm still gonna write a book. But I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna write a book because I want to make it, so children know. And then Pete Rock and Busta Rhymes said that bullshit that they said about about black music being Jamaican. And that's when I was like, man, nah, fuck a book. I'm gonna have to come right to the internet with this shit. Let me tell y'all something. If I thought if it was about attention and about just showing how much I know, I could have came to y'all on the internet on the music history tip back when YouTube first started. I could have, if it was about attention, if it was about me just coming on the internet, dick swinging and showing y'all how smart I am, I could have been on the music history tip back in 2012. But that's not what it was about. When Jason Black said, when he used those words, cultural legacy, that just reverberated with me. I'm like, you know what? It's like, okay, it's my duty to spread what I know. Before he said that, I never even thought about spreading what I know musically. Again, like I told you before, I thought the shit that I be telling y'all, I'm telling y'all, nigga, I thought everybody already knew this shit. Like everybody like over 40. Like I'm getting the people under, I see that again. But I thought for the most part, everybody my age and older, for the most part, I figured they already knew this shit. Boy, was I wrong. So it was like, okay, this is what we need. And when it comes to being black, our music is the most, we've done so many things, but music is the most upfront of the things that we've done. Because think about it, a song accompanies everything that you do in life. Every memory you have in life, think about all those good memories you have. I'm sure you have a song associated with it. If a song came on at a time something good happened to you, that song is going to be part of your life for the rest of your life. You can't have a TV commercial without a song. You can't have a movie without a song. Life is a song. That's why they say if you're living life the way you're supposed to live it, what do they say? You live it in what? Harmony. A constructive life is a life of harmony because harmony is music. Life is music. Music is life. They're inseparable. Life is a song. The universe vibrates on sound frequencies. When you like somebody, they give you what? Good vibrations. When you want to procreate and make a baby, you use your organs, right? The things that keep your life flowing. Your heart is a what? Organ? Y'all see how music connects to life in more ways than we think? So my philosophy is this. Since Jason Black woke that up within me, again, I don't ever have to know how Jason Black looks. I don't give a damn how he looks. He's a man. I only care about how women look. Yeah, I know I'm married, but shit, I still look at women are beautiful. Shit, God made some beautiful motherfuckers. But shit, and my wife knows she'll be looking right at me. She know I'm going. I love women. Like and I'm a faithful husband and wife, and I'm always gonna be that way with her. But I gotta be around women. Like anybody who knows me personally, if anyone who's come to one of my fight parties, our brother from the B1, brother Melvin brought his wife to my house about 2 years ago for a fight party. If you come to my fight party, you're gonna see two things. It's gonna be more women than men, and those women aren't gonna be my wife's friends, they're gonna be mine. And you're gonna probably see some very famous people from the internet off the internet. Those are the two things at my fight parties. Famous niggas on the internet and women. I had one fight party I did. I think this was like one of Floyd Mayweather's last fights. That Floyd Mayweather versus Berto fight. I didn't plan on it being this way, but it happened this way. I had like 16 chicks here, and I was the only man. And one of the women was my wife, and the other 15 was my homegirls. I invited my homeboys, but them niggas didn't show up. So it ended up being like, so I said, I love women. That's how much I love women. So I don't give a fuck about ever seeing how Jason Black looks. And to any grown ass man that goes to Jason Black and be like, we don't know how you look, man. I want to see how you look. You a weirdo, nigga. You probably a Billy Porter fan. Niggas, I want to know how Jason Black look. Probably like every movie Billy Porter's ever been in. That's the way I see it. You niggas like, you low key. Dennis Rodman was your favorite basketball player. Nigga, you was playing hopscotch when the other niggas was playing. True finesse update for the shirt is my web guy got to get on it. Like I'm having major issues putting my t-shirts up for sale for the Black Family Tree. I'm having like technical issues, and I've been having these issues since Tuesday. But it couldn't happen at the worst time because my web guy was like on vacation, and he has other clients, and I was on the phone like 12 hours on Wednesday trying to fix this shit. and I can't get it fixed. So my web guy, hopefully my web guy can. He said he's going to tackle it this weekend. So hopefully on Monday my t-shirts will be up for sale for the Black Music Family Tree. And I upgraded the quality of these t-shirts. My other t-shirts are good quality too, but the quality on these t-shirts. Matter of fact, I'm about to change the rest of my t-shirts to this. I found a new vendor with a better quality t-shirt. So this t-shirt is of the highest quality. But again, that's what it is. What I do as a black business, man, I do my shit in excellence, man. It gotta be excellent. And finishing my point about, the people in Jason Black, I haven't Jason's been on Twitter space a lot this week. And I heard like maybe 2 hours of it, but after a while, honestly, I couldn't I just had to turn it off because it was all these people trying to warp his words and say, you new Pan African. It's just confusion. And the way he broke it down, and it's just been a lot of confusion on the internet this past week. And as much as I like breaking y'all information, like and everything, I gotta disconnect just as much. I had to like turn that shit off. Like all them Twitter spaces, I listened to them for a little bit, but shit. Quan S, what was we doing? T Dynamite, what was we doing last night? We was on incense and ashtrays, nigga. We was in the music. I broke. It's the reason why I broke down Roy Ayers last night on my show. Go back and y'all need to subscribe to Incense and Ashtrays. It's on Spotify now too. Replays are up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All the podcasting platforms you can find Incense and Ashtrays. But I focused on Roy Ayers for a reason, because Roy Ayers is chill out vibing music, and with all the shit that's been going on in the world, in the Black First community, it's been a lot of tension. It's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of deception, a lot of bullshit. Once like for me, once I see the bullshit and identify the bullshit, I can't stay in it. I gotta go. I gotta leave. I gotta wash myself of that shit. So I did my incense and ashtrays on Roy Ayers because Roy Ayers is chill out, vibe out music. Roy Ayers is a music of relax and let the world be free. I've been in my music. Like, you see, I only did what, 2 shows this week? Usually I'm on every night. I did a show Sunday and I didn't come on back with you guys until Thursday. Because I had to, like, nigga, I had to turn on the music, man. I had to turn on the music. I had to bathe myself in that music, man. Give me some Oscar Peterson. What up, man? Yes, sir. But like, nah, I had to get away from that shit and get into music. You never gonna get one group on one accord. You gotta know that. You're right, Nino Black. There is no misunderstanding. People are being purposely obtuse. That's the best way to put it. Nino, hey, Nino. I ain't gonna lie though. Uh, I was listening to one of those spaces, Nino Black, and that that Trini dude, like called said your name, and I fell out laughing. I was like, aha, this nigga Nino Black got a Trini dude's attention. you making trannies mad, boy. Don't let them Dave Chappelle your ass, nigga. Remember, I was at the Hollywood Bowl when Dave Chappelle got tackled by that dude. You better watch yourself, watch your front, and watch your ass. You in Atlanta, nigga. My man Nino Black, nigga, you need to wear a chastity belt. I don't want to see you none of these 6'8" buff ass trannies in Atlanta taking you down. You better wear a chastity belt for a little while, just an ironclad one. Like, remember that movie Robin Hood Men in Tights when Dave Chappelle, when an old girl had that iron chastity belt, and Brunhilde was like, "No ding ding without a wedding ring." By the way, Robin Hood Men in Tights is one of the funniest movies ever. I love that fucking movie. I can watch it anytime I want. But my nigga Nino Black, you better watch out, boy. Yeah, you're right, Quan. This nigga Nino Black got a stalker. This motherfucker went into Twitter space. This motherfucker went into Tariq's Twitter space to talk about Nino Black. All I know, Nino Black, if you see any women 6 feet tall, if you see any men, anyone 6 foot tall in a dress and a wig, nigga, just get your hand on your thing. You in Atlanta, you in Georgia, so I know y'all got some things out there in Georgia. Just get your hand. Don't do nothing, but if they attack you, just be ready. If I was you, Nino Black, watch out. You might get attacked. The way them trannies was on your ass in Tariq Nasheed's chat room. But salute to you, Nino Black, for the work that you've been putting in, man. But let me give you some, like, I know you're younger, and I don't mean to single you out, brother, but let me just, it's honestly, it's coming to my spirit to tell you this. This is coming directly from my spirit to tell you this, Nino. Don't allow, and this is for everyone else in the chat room too. Be 10 toes down, but don't allow these things happening on the internet. Don't allow them to have any bearing on your personal emotion. Give yourself emotional space from the things happening online. Be 10 toes down, but the last thing we want, is for emotional burnout. I'm saying this to somebody who helps people. You got to know how to interface with the things that we see disconnected from it. You'll be at your most effective disconnected from it. Don't let these motherfuckers piss you off. Don't let these motherfuckers make you mad. See what they doing, call out what they doing, but give your personal emotion some space from it. All right? I'm saying that because I love you. I'm saying that because I love all y'all. I love everybody in here. So as we have this B1 fight, because we are in a fight, we're in a war, Don't nobody want to, man, look, man, if he could just chill, we would be the first niggas to chill. But when you live in a system that dehumanizes you and it goes to war on your children in the education system and through books and propaganda and news and music, we the people that decide to stand up and say that enough is enough. But remember this, part of military strategy is to remove your emotions. The system does these things to us to charge our emotions. The system feeds off of our emotion. And black people, we are an emotional people. That's why we create such good music. That's why the world feels our music. Because we come from an emotion of love. And we love so much that when things aren't right, we put our hearts on the line to make them right. And that's where we go wrong. That's where we as black people have to mature. That's where now at the end of the day, the past is the past because at the end of the day, we lost something. We forgot something. Or what we had was good for the time. Maybe it's time for us to grow to a new level. That's the way I see it, honestly. We had what we had. That's a cool thing to talk about in the past. But really, at the end of the day, we got another level to go to. But you're not going to get to that level using your emotions. We got to think logically. You got to separate yourself. That's how I look at it. When you're in math, algebra is when math got a little more complicated. And you learn your equations. You learn how to solve for B. You learn how to solve for C. And every 2 weeks in algebra class, you get more to solve from. What did you do in algebra class? When you started getting those compound equations, did you allow your emotions to take over and say, hey, that's too many things to solve for? First, I had to solve for A. Then I had to solve for B. Now you're telling me I got to solve for A, B, C, D, and E? Oh, hell no. Did you approach it that way? Or did you just focus harder? And did you listen a little bit closer to your instructor? Did you give your homework a little bit more effort to solve the issue? Because you knew you needed to pass that class to get your GPA to a certain point to get to college. Because if you're my age, the world sold your ass on go to college. So that's what people my generation was focused on. We was focused on college. Because the world told us we had to go to college to be anything good. That's all the adults told us. So what happened when we got faced with these tough issues in high school? We didn't use our emotions to fight them. We sat the emotions down and we used our logic. That's how it's to be with this B1 fight. That's how it's to be when it comes to fighting for justice. Don't let these motherfuckers touch your emotions. Because I'm telling y'all right now, half these niggas is agents. You see how many people you see in these Twitter spaces? Join Twitter 2021. 20 followers. Why is this motherfucker even on a mic? Why are you even letting this person speak? Like, think about that. Think about that. What's up, Smoke Splitter? So don't let these people get control of your emotions. Remember, when it comes to boxing, when it comes to one thing about Kobe, let me tell y'all a Kobe story. I have a lot of Kobe stories because one of my homeboys used to be an assistant coach for the Lakers. I'm not sure if he feels okay with me because of the kind of shit that I talk. And one thing about the NBA is definitely like an old boys club. So with the NBA, with the NBA, it's like, they can't be too political. So I won't say this brother's name. But one of my friends was an assistant coach with the Lakers. And this is back when Phil Jackson was there. This is Kobe, Gasol, Lamar Odom, Andrew Bynum. These those years. That second Lakers championship run. And for some of you who've heard some of my basketball stories before, y'all may have heard this, so bear with me if you heard the story or not. But I don't think I told the story in a long time, so I doubt a lot of you guys have heard it. But my boy used to be an assistant coach with the Lakers, and that 2010 Lakers team was my favorite Lakers team of all time. Partially because I was there in the house when they won the championship on my 29th birthday, June 17th, 2010. I had tickets, and I was sitting right next to Lou Gossett Jr. When my Lakers won that championship. I had tickets that whole season. Like, I love living in LA. I know a lot of good people. And I've had a lot of memorable life experiences that I didn't have to pay a dime for. Well, anyway, he was talking about Kobe. And one thing about Kobe, the thing that always stood out about Kobe was his mindset and approach. And he would talk about like basketball the way he would talk about life. And he would see each individual game as an individual challenge for him to conquer. And sometimes in conquering a challenge, sometimes you're the leader, sometimes you're the decoy. And you have to be willing to be fluid and to understand when to jump in the leadership role, when to play it back. Because he's having this conversation with Kobe. Because Kobe was talking about when he was young Kobe, when he was number 8. Number 8 Kobe was Shaq. Didn't understand that. Number 8 was like, nah, give me the ball, get the fuck out my way. Fuck you, Shaq. Fuck you, Phil Jackson. I'm the great Kobe Bryant. But number 24 got wise. And number 24 was talking about, being the knowing in life. Basically, in life, you go through different roles. And even though you're the leader, part of leadership is being able to blend in with your team when need be. And that's what I got to thinking about, like when it comes, and it's about your emotion. You can only understand when to play your role when you remove your emotion from the game. When you approach the game with an emotional point of view, like, I got to get this guy, I got to do this. Kobe said that's usually when you foul out. You're trying too hard, you're doing too much. That's when you foul out. Those are the games you will go, 2 for 25 from the field. You got your emotion in it. You can't beat your opponent because they made you feel a certain way. The minute, and this is what Kobe would do. When Kobe would manipulate, when he would play against other teams, he would purposely draw their emotion. Kobe would learn something about his opponent and strike that emotional chord. This was something Kobe did one time. Well, he did this one time, did this a few times. And this is actually something he said on an interview. I heard the story directly from my friend that used to coach, but Kobe verified it on an interview. What he would do is he would study the other teams and which players had free agents, which player was up for a new contract. And just say a team has a duo, two, and one of the duo got their contract last year, but other part of the duo, his contract extension is up this year. Kobe said what he would do is the player that got the contract already, the player that already got the big deal, he would sag off him and let that player get hot. So Kobe knew if that player got hot, he's going to start feeling himself and shooting too much. Meanwhile, the other player who's up for a contract extension, he's going to start feeling a certain way. He's going to start getting emotional. Because one thing about the NBA, the NBA, you get paid on your numbers. So people can talk about winning all you want. Nah, niggas is like, okay, if I get, the difference between somebody who averages 14 points a game and 19 points a game is about $90 million in NBA money. Let me say it again. The difference between averaging 14 points a game and averaging 19 points a game is about $90 million. So what Kobe would do, the player who was up for the contract extension, he knew that if he can get the player that already got his money going, that he wouldn't pass to the other person. And now you have two teammates fighting one another because the one that has a contract extension coming up, he's looking for his shots. He needs to get them points because if you don't get them points, that's going to cost them financially. So now he gets the other team fighting, and now they're fighting against each other. And while they're fighting against one another, Kobe's running the triangle against their ass, slicing and dicing them up, winning the game. Why did I use that Kobe analogy for? I use it because I liken that to us in our battle with the system of white supremacy and what we see going on in these Twitter spaces. The people in these Twitter spaces, who's to say, not all, and I ain't talking about the leaders, salute to Sonny G. I'm always going to have love for Sonny. I say that right now over in Salute the Tribe. I say that right now. I'm always going to have love for Sonny. But people within the group and people who comment, who's to say they aren't somebody who's sent in to start internal confusion from within their group? Who's to say that there aren't people who aren't the leaders of that group? People who just are always commenting. Who's to say they aren't? Those people weren't sent by somebody to cause disharmony. We don't know that. We can't say that for sure. They may be all on the up and up. They may not. And in a group of hundreds of people, all it takes is one or two who aren't on the up and up. It don't take the whole group. The whole term "one bad apple spoils a bunch" is some real shit. All it takes is one person to be them folks. So what happens? What happens if you integrate your emotions with that? Can you see that? Or are you so involved in the fight that you're now being manipulated by someone who was sent to manipulate you? That's why you must remove your emotions. The reason why Kobe won that second set of championships, the Lakers did not, that was the most, that era in the NBA, the 2000s, the late 2000s, that was the most competitive era in NBA history. And I can say, and the number is to back me, and the Western Conference was the most competitive in NBA history. Why do I say that? Because during that time, you needed at least 50 wins to make the playoffs. See, in today's NBA, they have a play-in tournament, so you'd be a top 10. Like who was the number 8 seed this year had a losing record. The number 6, 7, and 8 this year. Like Denver was a 6 seed. Y'all in the chat room, help me out. Look up, what was Denver's record? Was it 42 and 40? Like 43 and 39, something like that? Basically, Denver had less than 40, 45 wins, and they were the 6th seed. If you go back to the late 2000s, if you had 45 wins, you were the 10th seed. You weren't making the playoffs. So Kobe played in an era that was the most competitive in his conference, and he never had the best team. He never had the best team. What he had was the philosophy that was imparted. And same thing with Michael Jordan. The common link is Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson approached the game from a very spiritual point of view. And he knew how to get his best players to meditate and zone in on the game to remove their emotions from the game. So the reason that team won those championships, and I was there when they played against Boston in the finals, when the game got tight, the Lakers, because of the philosophy of Phil Jackson and his Zen philosophy, staying present, removing your emotion, and using your logic. That was really the triangle's philosophy. The triangle was geometry. It was a read and react offense. It was basically do what makes sense. Before the triangle offense, teams ran offenses pick and roll, cut left, cut right. The triangle was more use your reads. You read what's going on. The defense is pressuring you. You cut to the basket. If the defense is sagging off, you pop out. But it required your ultimate presence. You had to be present in the moment and non-emotional. So that's so goes when it comes to what we're going through. You have to be present, focused, and non-emotional. That's how that's why I value sports. You always translate. Look at this. Think about this, black people. I know I say Q&A and I'm rambling right now, but I got a point I'm making. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing teaches us in the ISIS papers that sports is a simulation of war. Am I right? Am I right? So, Black, I lost my point. God damn it. A nigga lost his point. I said, am I right? Then I lost my point. Tell me where I was. I'm having a nigga moment. Victoria, she from Chicago. She'll fuck you up if you talk shit about Phil Jackson. You know, what was I saying? Quan, where was I at? I lost my goddamn point. I lost it. Oh, sports and war. Thank you. I lost sports and war. Our great mother teacher, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, again, this goes back to applying knowledge. She teaches us that sports is war. And so the white supremacists see they use sports as a simulation of war. Well, guess what, black people? You can too. What Neely Fuller talks about that political jujitsu. That's what we need to play with the system. That's what Neely Fuller says. Political use the strength of the system against itself. Okay, so since the dominant society wants to use sports as war, nigga, game on, nigga. Too motherfucking shay. That's the way I see it. Okay, you want to use sports as war? Nigga, I'm about to let my nuts hang because I'm better at sports than you, cracker motherfuckers. Let's go. See, if black men adopt that mindset collectively, we can end this shit overnight. But we allow what to get in control? What's the lesson of the night? Emotion. And people, if you have a card that's a heart, watch out. If you're a two of hearts, if you're a seven of hearts, if you're a queen of hearts, if your card is a heart, you're very emotional. Your emotions could either you could either use your emotions to push through, or your emotions are going to drown you out. So if you're a hearts card, hey, you're home. If you're a hearts card, know that your emotion can be the best of you, or it could be the death of you. So watch your emotion if you're a hearts card. But back to what I was saying about the use of emotion in sports. When you remove your emotion from sports and you look at it for the war strategy that it is, you can use that when it comes to facing whatever battles in life you're facing. And one of them is what we're dealing with. And the team, to end my point out about sports, the team that can approach the game with the least amount of emotion, with the clearest focus and clarity, and with harmony. But you got to have harmony within yourself first before you have harmony with your team. So let me break one more point down about sports. You know how we talk about being black first is you first got to strengthen yourself, and as you strengthen yourself, you got to make yourself someone that has something to contribute to black society. That's the first step. The first step of black first is of doing something, as our brother Jason always says. The first step of doing something is doing something with yourself, making yourself an asset, just like sports. You're no good to the team if you're afraid to shoot. The reason why the 2006 Lakers didn't beat the Phoenix Suns in the first round, even though they were up 3-1, was because when the ball rotated to Smush Parker, he was afraid to shoot. When the ball rotated to Lamar Odom some games would just be afraid to shoot. And they played tentative. The last thing you need in sports, whether it be basketball, football, boxing, whatever sports you play, you cannot, cannot, cannot have a tentative player. Look at Draymond Green right now. Look at Draymond Green. Thank God for Steph's heroics, but the reason why the Warriors are really struggling is because Draymond Green, his role on the team is to get the offense moving. He gets the ball moving, but you have to, in sports, you have to be able to hit your open shots, because if you can't hit your open shots, it's going to sag off you and clog the lane. And when they sag off you and clog the lane, that clogs the passing lanes. So the rest of your teammate, they cannot operate at maximum capacity because your inability to shoot the ball, your tentativeness around not taking the shot, that now clogs the lane for the rest of your teammates. How does that apply to Black First philosophy? You got to be the best black person you can be. And that's what I teach in my company, Breakthrough. That's what I do offline when I'm not around y'all. I teach people how to be the best fucking person that they can be. In my cardology readings, I read you exactly where your gifts are, exactly where your talents are, and then from there, you got to go off and do the work. I help with the how and the what. But in basketball, you have to have your skills. When the off season comes, the best players, my boy that used to coach with the Lakers, he told me this is what Kobe used to do. He said when he used to coach Kobe in the off season, this what happened. The Lakers lose the 2008 finals to the Celtics. Kobe goes downstairs. He's mad because if you go back and watch that game 6 against the Celtics, Lamar Odom, them niggas quit. Them niggas was scared as fuck. Like, Gasol was soft. Them niggas just really didn't play good at all. They played so soft that game 6. So Kobe was like dejected. So what Kobe did was he went down to the bar and he bought, like, the bar in Boston was like, we're closed at the hotel. And Kobe's like, what the fuck you mean you closed? I'm Kobe. What the fuck? So Kobe calls the people who run the hotel like, these motherfuckers saying they closed. And so Kobe was like, they're like, no, we'll open for you, Kobe. So the hotel opens the bar. Again, you ain't gonna hear the story on ESPN. This is a Dwan SPN story right here, nigga. That's why I got stories better than ESPN to ever tell your ass. So you ain't gonna hear this shit on ESPN or Fox Sports. This is some shit you gotta know somebody who either played for the Lakers at that time or was on their staff to know this story. So Kobe goes and he buys the bar. Kobe bought the whole bar. $50,000, however much it costs, I don't know. Kobe drinks, really dejected at what happened. So when Kobe's done drinking, the hotel is thinking, okay, he gonna leave the alcohol here. Not Kobe. Not Kobe. So you know what Kobe did? Kobe had the Lakers staff shrink wrap every bottle. Everything. He said, I didn't buy this bar. I'm not gonna buy this bar. This is boss. I'm not gonna buy all this liquor and let you guys keep it. Hell motherfucking nah. Give me this shit. You niggas gonna have to restock. Kobe had the liquor shipped back to LA. And he had the liquor put in his basement. And my boy asked him, like a few days later, like, what you do with that liquor? He said, I put that liquor down there. Kobe said, Kobe probably never drank that. Kobe put that liquor down there to remind him of his experience in Boston, how they tried to treat him, how they tried to play him. And that was motivation to work out. Why am I telling you all this? So Lakers come home. You know where Kobe is the next morning after they lost the finals? Working out in the gym, 5 in the morning, working out. Fast forward to the next year, 2009. The Lakers win the championship. They beat the Orlando Magic in 5 games. Kobe feels great. Kobe feels good. When they fly back to LA, what's the first thing Kobe did when he gets back to LA? Work out. He got right back to working on his game. So from the year he lost the finals to the year he won the finals, it didn't matter. He woke up the next morning and started working on his game. And this is what he said he would do with Kobe. He said with Kobe like the workouts would start like at 5 a.m. So, but when he got there to the gym, so my man, he'd always get there like around like 4:45. He said he'd get there, Kobe is already there in a full-on sweat doing a pre-workout before the workout. So Kobe worked out like that. That's what he demanded of his teammates. That's what it took to be as great as Kobe was. 3 workouts a day throughout his whole career. Win or lose, workout. Why am I telling you all this? I'm going to give you another story. I had a friend of mine who played with the Dallas Mavericks. And this is back when Dirk Nowitzki was in his prime. This is like prime Dirk Nowitzki. He said whenever they would go on a road trip, whenever they would land, Dirk would always have a local high school gym near the hotel ready. So when he would land in a new city, Dirk would put up 1,000 jumps before going to bed. Go to bed, go to sleep, wake up the next day, go back to that gym, and put up another 1,000 jump shots before practice. And then after practice, another 500 jump shots. Why am I saying all this? In order to be a champion, in order to win, everybody on the team got to do their best to put themselves in great position to be a contribution to the team. If you're on that court and you can't shoot and you don't have confidence in your shot, now the defense is going to sag off of you. They're going to get into your head and they're going to make you emotional. And now your emotionality is going to be a detriment to your own team. And your team is going to implode from within based off too many people not being assets and or allowing their emotions to control the game. So as black people, we cannot be emotional in this fight. We can't be. Sports tells us that. Sports is a simulation of war, according to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. We cannot allow that to happen. You gotta disconnect your emotion from this shit. Don't let these motherfuckers get you emotional. Stay logical. And then if you stay logical, don't let the black media become the new church. Church has all kinds of stories in it that can free your mind. But even if the pastor does give you, just say pastor do give you a message to free your mind. You're looking at it as a religion. You ain't gonna get it. I'll give you an example. Pastor Frederick K.C. Price, Crenshaw Christian Fellowship here in L.A. He was the person that really put Dr. Claude Anderson out there to the masses. Dr. Claude Anderson, when Powernomics came out and when Black Labor White Wealth came out, he went to those videos you see of Dr. Claude Anderson on Black Labor White Wealth. Those were filmed at Crenshaw Christian Center. I know because I was there. The church I grew up in was an association, came out of Crenshaw Christian Center. And when Claude Anderson was coming, I was 15 years old and going with my mom to meet. We hearing about Claude Anderson, so we were there at that. I don't know if I was at the one he filmed because he filmed a series of them, but I went to the place to see Claude Anderson when he was talking Black Labor White Wealth when I was 14, 15 years old. He came to my church at that time. But guess what? Our mindset was in church. So even though the message came, we didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Because black people were in a religion and it was about their emotions. So even when the great Dr. Claude Anderson came, when he was still young and vibrant and spoke with authority, I was a 13, 14, 15-year-old boy sitting there listening to that man speak. But I saw how we around didn't get the message. We didn't get the message because we was in some fucking religion. And the religion was on some emotional shit. So even when the good messenger comes through, you ain't gonna even get the jewels if you in your emotions, black people. Let them emotions go. Use your emotions for your family. Use your emotions are good. Use your emotions for your love. To love the people you love the most. Use your emotions for that. Use your emotions to feel and to be sensitive to your environment. That's what your emotions are for. Your emotions are to feel your environment. Feel the love. Because if you don't use your emotions properly, you'll think the whole world is haters. And if you think the whole world is haters, it's because you haven't emotionally opened up to the love vibration. All you niggas in here got somebody who love you. It may be a mama, it may be a cousin, it may be a friend, but you got somebody who love you. Use your emotions for them, not these people online that you don't know. Fuck these niggas. These people that want to troll in these chat rooms and people that want to, y'all know, y'all don't be from Craig Facts. I can't tell you, I may check the chat room, the comments on Craig Facts twice a year. Let them have it. They can have it. People can have what the fuck they want to have. Your mental sanity, your solitude, your emotional security, that is what's important right there. Don't let these motherfuckers have control of that. That shit's yours and yours alone. And if you're a hearts, you need a cardiology reading, and you're a heart, and you're one of you're in the heart suite. You really need to check your emotions, especially if your card is a 7 of hearts. You really need to. Your emotions will fuck you up if your card is a heart. Your emotions will fuck you up. Yeah. What's up, Ebony? Hey, Ebony, you good people. Hey, for y'all, when Craig Facts, when we was in Seattle, we ended up going to after the show. We ended up going to a spot. This Ebony's there playing dominoes. I wasn't playing. I didn't get to talk to you, Ebony, much when we were in Seattle. You had a good energy. You had a good vibe about you. But to tell you the honest truth, I had so much weed. All I want to do is get high and sit down. Usually I play dominoes. I wasn't playing dominoes with y'all. But that shit was just so random. Like, I'm sitting here like, who the fuck is this? But she had a good spirit about her. And she could tie his ass in dominoes. I was like, man, they cool as hell. But, nigga, Ebony, I'm sorry I didn't get to talk to you like that. But I think that night, I probably had 7 blunts in about, after the show, I probably had about 7 blunts in about a 2.5 hour span. So I didn't get to commune with you, Ebony Brandon, when I was in Seattle after the show. But I remember you having a good spirit about you. Because I get real cautious, like after shows. Like I like to, I don't. I'm as much as a public person I am. I'm awful every. I value my privacy as much as probably more than I do my public persona. I'm like, man, her and her homegirl, they seem cool as hell, and she kicking Ty's ass, so she got to be cool. But I had about 7 blunts in about a 2.5 hour span, so I wasn't very social. I wasn't very, and I remember when I left thinking, because I'm a little self conscious. I remember because I left a little early. You were still there when I left. I remember when I left, I was thinking, I was like, man, I hope that sister don't think I was an asshole. I wasn't talking to her. That was really one of my thoughts. I was like, man, when I was in the car, I was thinking like, man, I hope them sisters don't think I'm an asshole. Because I really didn't say much to them. But I was high as fuck. And I wasn't talking to her. I was high. Nigga, I was high. And I was not about to get up and say shit to nobody. I was high. Like Slink, if you remember Ebony, Slink was in the other room sleep. Hey, y'all, I smoked Slink. I smoked Slink Johnson that night. Black Jesus. I'll smoke. Slink was in the other room, knocked the fuck out. I wasn't asleep, but I was just sitting there. You ready? Ready to come in? All right. I'm gonna talk to you niggas later. My wife just got home. Y'all, it's good talking to y'all. Remember what I said. I love y'all. Much respect to everybody out there. Get the Black Music Family tree. My wife home, so we about to have fun. I'll holler at y'all.